one of my goals is to teach amputees how to be as independent as possible. And step one is being able to put your legs on all by yourself, because it is a major factor in your independence and being able to get around the house, around the community, all of those things. So I myself had to learn in rehab how to conquer this task, which is very overwhelming at first. I use a pin lock system. I do have my knees, and I personally like the freedom of having all this range of motion at my knees, so I prefer this system of keeping my legs on. I have a cover. You can see they're kind of worn out, but I will push the button to remove my legs, and that released the liner from the lock, the pin. Your socks fill in the volume so you don't bottom out. If you are bottoming out, it means you're feeling the bottom of the pin. You should not feel that pressure going up to the bottom of your leg. A well-fitting prosthesis squeezes on the muscles on the side, and it kind of keeps you suspended so you don't hit the bottom. I had to find that out early on as well. I couldn't figure out why my legs were hurting so bad, and it was as simple as adding a thicker or another sock, so you were fitting in it more properly. And there's a lot of reduction in swelling early on, so your socks are the biggest thing that you have to modify and play with in order to feel comfortable in the socket, which is the part that is custom to you. So liners are another thing. I originally did not have a set of liners that I could put on by myself, and I will tell you why. So I use, they're called Alpha Smart Temp. They help with the heat regulation, not so sweaty on the inside, because as an amputee, you struggle with regulating your heat. There is not enough skin for the heat dissipation, so you really have to figure out how you can feel comfortable in your own skin. So I have my elbows, so I'm able to reach and take off my liners. The silicone is kind of grippy. So one of the reasons I couldn't do it in the beginning is because the ones I was trying to use, they did not go all the way inside out, so they were kind of like this. So then trying to figure out how to squeeze them and keep them tight against my end of my leg was very difficult to do. So working with my prosthetist, I was able to figure out which brand of the gel liners was going to work best for me, so I could independently put my legs on myself. So I can roll them off very easily by myself. You can see they go all the way inside out, and when they're off, I can wash them at night with I prefer foam soap. You got to get that bacteria off, you know, the skin and everything, because you don't want any other infections. So these liners stay all the way inside out, which allows for me to get a grip. Your range of motion is important. I can put them on the end, and because they are grippy, I can pull them up like this. I would really advise that you figure out what pair of liners, what system, what brand are going to make you the most independent, because you don't want to be trapped in your home just because you couldn't get your legs on if someone was not there. So then I will put on my socks. I stretch them. If you have short arms, you can always move your mouth to help you. Then you know how strong you're holding it. Once again, stretch it with my arms to get that pin. So I was just showing how I put my liners and my socks on in a sitting position, and I'm gonna slowly get into a standing position by putting on my legs. So I need to be able to put my leg down into the socket to click. So with my liners on, it doesn't hurt my knees to go into a tall kneeling position. And then I can get my socket. My right one's a lot easier to put on, just my anatomy. One click, I know I'm in. And I'll get more, I'll probably click more when I stand up. And because my left one is a little more challenging, a little more soft tissue, I will get in this position so I can get on top of it. I didn't put all my weight on my left side yet because it's not in there, but I can get a click. And hearing all those lets me know that I am securely in the socket. And like I said, this is a pin lock system, and it's very easy for me to put on independently. So figure out with your prosthetist what is the easiest for you to do on a daily basis.